Everybody will stand and pledge allegiance. Well, first, thank you all for coming out for our first work session. We'll learn as we go and make these go as best as they can. Do I have a motion to enter closed session?
I'll make a motion to enter closed session.
And read it.
Pursuant to Code of Virginia 1950 as amended, section 2.2-3711A3, the council may go into closed session for the consideration of discussion of the acquisition of real property for a public purpose or of the disposition of publicly held real property where discussion is an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ms. Abramson?
Aye.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Aye.
Mr. Sauls?
Aye.
And that's it.
All right. Thank you all. If y'all will step out for us. Do we need to ask them to?
Oh, yeah, we do need
We need to make a motion to invite,
Yes, please. I hate to ask you
motion
do
to
that.
invite Linda Helton and Devin Carricker.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call vote.
Ms. Abramson?
Aye.
Mr. Henderson?
Aye.
Mr. Palmer?
Aye.
Mr. Sauls?
Aye. Is that mic on?
What's that?
Is the mic on?
Take your camera with you. Take your camera with you when you walk out. Thank you.
Get everything under wraps here. What are you doing here? You're supposed to be fishing somewhere. Huh?
I just don't even bother anymore.
You looking forward to it? I bet you are.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call vote.
Yes.
Ms. Abramson?
Aye.
Mr. Henderson?
Aye.
Mr. Palmer?
Aye.
Mr. Sauls?
Aye.
All right, do you certify that in closed session just conducted, nothing was discussed except the matter or matters identified in the motion to convene in closed session and lawfully permitted to be discussed under provision of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act? Please signify with I so certify. Ms. Abramson?
I so certify.
Mr. Henderson?
I certify.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes.
And Mr. Sauls?
I so certify.
All right, can I get a motion to amend the agenda to add, the water meter at Northwood High School and, discussion of the pool? Could I get a motion to amend?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All right, hang on just a second, let me write this down real quick.
Water meter at Northwood High School and pool.
Okay. Ms. Abramson?
Aye.
Mr. Henderson?
Aye.
Mr. Palmer?
Aye.
Mr. Sauls?
Aye.
Okay. Next up, consideration of expansion of the Elizabeth Cemetery property. After talking to citizens for the past, I don't know how many years, talking to Henderson's Funeral Home, there seems to be a need for expansion of Elizabeth Cemetery property. I reached out to John Graham's office at Smith County, and there are no surveys, nothing that we can use. We would have to get new surveys done in order to get this this moving, if you all wished. Do I have a motion to consider it?
Make,
Go ahead. You go
I'll
ahead.
make a motion to consider new surveys for the Elizabeth Cemetery.
Second,
I'll second.
discussion.
So we're getting a survey of what's the property?
Both the old and the new section of Elizabeth Cemetery to see what the town owns, where, if possible, for expansion. But we would like to, get quotes for that. I guess, or just go ahead. I guess we just go ahead with the survey.
Yeah, we can go ahead.
And,
I think we would need to get quotes, right? For the survey?
Oh, are you saying for the quotes for this actual survey to be
For
done?
the
Oh,
survey.
yes, I'm sorry,
Yep,
yes, I'm
yep,
sorry, I wasn't
right.
thinking right, yeah. We can
Um,
do quotes.
we need to get quotes for the survey and then see where that leads us when those come in. See if there's a possibility for expansion, get that done. And also some fencing around, down in the new section that would, so a solid fencing that would block, North Fork Manor from the new section of the cemetery, to give some privacy during funerals and the like, and privacy to the people that live at North Fork Manor, from those.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we advertise for a survey of the,
Hang on, we got a motion and a second already.
Yeah, we got a
Go on.
discussion.
You gotta vote on your
We
discussion
got to
motion.
vote on it.
what was our
Roll
motion?
call vote to consider expansion of
okay.
Elizabeth Cemetery property. Roll call vote,
It's voice vote, it's fine.
okay.
Ms. Abramson?
Aye.
Mr. Henderson?
Aye.
Mr. Comer?
Aye.
Mr. Sauls?
All right, now motion to, get quotes for a survey.
I'll make the motion.
I'll
Second,
I'll second.
any discussion on that?
How many do we want? Do we typically-
Depends on what comes in.
I'll
Yeah, I
send it
mean,
to every
if-
surveyor I can
Yeah.
find and, hope that we get at least 2.
There's about 4 or 5 active in the area, so you'll be lucky to get one or
I'll
two,
get
but I'm
one.
sure you'll get
Yeah.
somebody.
Any more discussion? Roll call vote,
Ms. Abramson?
Aye.
Mr. Henderson?
Aye.
Mr. Comer?
Aye.
Mr. Sauls?
all right, consideration of financial report and discussion of loan payments, Mrs. Rosenbaum.
All right, in your last, packets, I gave you a, listing of all of the town's, accounts, certificates of deposit, and loans and lines of credit with the Bank of Marion, and, a capture of VRA loans, and rural development loans and balances. The ones that I'm particularly interested in, talking about tonight, and I do have one additional loan to add. There is a, PDC loan from Mount Rogers that occurred, I don't know when, and I don't know what it was for. I've got to find that out. But the, balance on that right now is $88,270.27. So I presume that that was probably to assist with a infrastructure water and sewer project somewhere down the line, but I've got a meeting with Aaron Sizemore tomorrow, so I will find out from him exactly and see if I can get a copy of the loan documents on that, so. But the ones that, the one I'm particularly, curious about is the ones I'm curious about. We have a loan on the trash truck, at the Bank of Marion. The payoff, when I spoke with Mr. Griffin several weeks ago, was $8,896.26. The next 3 loans are for, fire equipment and or fire trucks. And one loan, for a fire truck is, the payoff on it is $8,305. It's 100 days past due. We have a, loan on a fire truck that is an annual payment of $17,395.29. There needs to be, an annual payment will be coming up in a few months on that, which is that $17,000 payment, and then there's an annual payment due on, fire department equipment an annual payment of due of $11,732.10. And, I need some guidance from council on how you want to, approach these fire department ones. I don't know what the specifics are, I don't know what the council in the past has agreed to do, but, one thing that we could possibly do is, combine these loans and get a lower interest rate. Mr. Griffin has, offered to do that for us, but I think it would probably involve, some conversation with the members, of the fire department. Because I can't find anything in writing as to what their obligation is to any of this money that's been loaned. And I presume that they probably have some sort of an obligation, but I don't know what that is. And Mr. Griffin told me that it has been in the past, a contentious conversation when asked who's making the payment. So the fire department says it's the town, and the town says it's the fire department. So I need some guidance on how to go forth with this, because I wasn't involved, obviously, and I need to know how we're gonna deal with this. One thing I can do right now is we can pay off the trash truck loan. It's $8,896. It'll probably be a little bit more than that, but that would satisfy that loan completely. The original amount that was taken out was $39,000, and we can pay that off, and that's one thing that's off the books. But that's just a recommendation on my part. I would welcome your all's insight on that.
Do you know when that loan was taken out?
The trash truck,
Uh-huh.
I believe that it was 5 annual payments. So I presume with this payoff, it was done in 2019, I guess.
I was thinking it was before that.
Was it before that? Well, that's what he told me, and I don't, like I said, I can't find any paperwork, so that's where I'm struggling a little bit.
I can understand that part.
Yeah, so, but like I said, I can pay that off, and, it is something that we do use on a regular basis, and, it's only this one payment that's left, so, I just wondered if council had an appetite for trying to go ahead and get that paid for.
How much was it? 8,896 even?
26.
26?
That's gonna change because there'll be a few more days
Sure.
of interest compounded on top of that, but I wouldn't think it would be anything probably over $30 to $40 probably,
Okay,
if I had to guess.
so do I have a motion to pay off the trash truck? Approximately $8,896.26.
I think if we got the money, we need to start taking care of some of the bills.
It is, now probably 38 days past due, so,
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Any more discussion?
So what action are we taking on the fire department? Are you gonna ask Lynch if he's got any documents on that and then go from there?
yeah, and I think probably what I would recommend is that we put that conversation back on for another agenda, so that we can get the right people here from the fire department to figure out how we go forward with that, if that's okay.
And I asked for financials in the next report.
Okay, perfect.
And we got, Jamie, you don't know anything, do you? Don't, not to put you on the spot if you don't, that's
No.
fine.
I'll have to defer you to the chief.
Okay. Yeah, I would say just see if he's got any paperwork and, discuss that at the next meeting, which is coming up, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's February the 11th, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Roll call vote?
Ms. Abramson?
Aye.
Mr. Henderson?
Aye.
Mr. Comer?
Aye.
Mr. Sauls?
Aye.
That it on yours?
Yes, and I think what I'm trying to do right now, just for council's information, is we have a line of credit, with Bank of Marion, in the amount of $600,000 at a terrible interest rate of 8.58%.
5-8.
So I have, asked Mr. Griffin to please do whatever he can to lower the interest rate, and he is working on that. I will add that conversation as well to the next conversation when we talk about the fire department, if that's all right with council moving forward.
All right, next up, consideration of disposition of Heartwood building. This is to kind of keep on with the conversation that Councilwoman Abramson had started at the last council meeting. To just open up this discussion of what's left, to finish any cleanup that's needed, and what do we want to do with it? Did you have anything else or any ideas that you wanted to discuss about the Heartwood building?
Well, I think starting with the, what's left, like, as you mentioned, with the cleanup, because we've heard different things on that. And then maybe I'll defer to Brian and Carrie. I don't think were you guys on council when this was purchased?
No, this was done
Prior
before we
to-
came on, but, you know. So,
I didn't know if you had any ideas of what they had talked about, their thoughts were at the time of purchase.
I don't.
You have any ideas now? No? Far be it.
I know they cleaned up a lot of trash up there and got rid of them.
They did,
Fairly
there's still a
clear.
lot left, yeah, there's still a lot left.
Yeah.
I do have an asbestos report that does say that there is no asbestos.
Okay.
So I know that was brought up at the last council meeting, so, you know, I do have that report. You know, I personally see, if I might add my 2 cents, I see absolutely no use for that building. I see no use for the town to house that building. There is a metal building behind it that is a really nice building, but we looked at trying to move it for town purposes, you know, to house equipment and stuff like that. But it would be more trouble than it was worth money-wise to even do that.
Could the town use it right now to get some of the equipment inside,
We
out of
could,
weather?
the only thing that, the biggest concern that I have is securing it and making sure that, cause it's so hidden back there, that there's been vandalism and stuff back there, and I don't know how we keep people from getting to it. You know, that's my biggest issue, is worried about the equipment, and, you know, of course, it's sitting out right now, so, you know,
We
I don't
paid
know.
$100-some thousand for it back, and it's just sitting out. Weather.
Exactly. So, that's that's definitely an issue. Were we to consider an alternative building, for town shops at some point in the future, that would certainly be something I would push very heavily for, is to have someplace that we can park, our equipment to keep it out of the weather. So, but if we used that building back there, I talked to, Hunter and Jim the other day, it would have to have a door, and we would have to find a way to secure, it's got windows. We'd have to find a way to keep people from breaking the windows and getting access to the equipment that way, so. It would cost some money to get it fixed up. I don't think it would be anything too exorbitant, but I just worry about the security of it. But personally, I see no use for the building. It looks atrocious. That's just my 2 cents worth.
Yeah, I was gonna say, thinking on it, I know the building's been there for a long time, but the building is in rough shape.
Is it even safe?
No,
No,
definitely not.
it wasn't safe 20 years ago.
Mm-mm. The steps, I think it's got an upstairs, and there is no way I would ever let anybody go up what's left of those steps. So, yeah, it's pretty bad. But at least we did block it up. I had it blocked when I first came here, just to keep people from getting in there and getting hurt. There was people trying to live in there, and I was worried somebody was gonna, get hurt on broken glass and all that other kind of stuff, and I just didn't. I was trying to lessen as much liability for the town as possible by doing that, so.
Well, I think we definitely need to keep discussion going about this. until till we come up with a solution.
Do you
Would
want me to
even
add
be
it?
feasible for demolition.
Yeah.
I'm assuming
Would
that's
it
the
be-
only possible solution is demolition and then sell it as a,
Or you can sell it like it is right now. You can put it up for sale if you want to. Sell it like it is. If anybody would be interested in it. The town paid, I think.
$75,000 if I remember right.
$75,000, and then they also, paid the back taxes that were owed on the building. So I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of another $1,000, so. And it was paid with ARPA funds.
How much land is there?
I have no idea, I need to look at
Do
the
you
plat,
know?
I don't remember.
Arby, do you know?
Can look at,
It's not a whole
It-
lot.
No, I think it's a pretty narrow lot, actually.
Was
It
it-
goes kind of back.
Okay.
Cecile, do you know, was it surveyed before the town bought it? Okay,
No,
just,
No, it wasn't,
I think the asbestos was in the shingles that was on
Yes.
the sheds, which is, they're gone.
which is gone, yeah, and that's why I think there was no, but I know that there's, the stuff that's outside that got dumped, it is not asbestos stuff, so.
Yeah, I can remember when
you know what,
they did the testing on that.
Yeah.
That was in the
it
last
is,
year and a half.
doesn't have
Okay.
any,
It came back negative.
doesn't have
Yeah.
a acreage.
Any more discussion, any other ideas? Do you wanna think on it, kick it down to the next work session, or, any other ideas?
I'd put it on the next agenda to either bid it out or do an RFP for how much it's gonna cost to bulldoze it. It's an eyesore right now, it needs to.
Mhm.
needs
It's the
to
first
be
thing
done.
people see as they come into town.
Yeah, it's a
that and it's a
horrible-
safety
Horrible
thing
first
too.
impression.
Okay,
So I'll just put it on the next agenda and we'll.
all right. Discussion of vultures in town. You know, you hear a lot from people and you can see it with your own eyes, the vultures, especially when it comes to the playground equipment, the picnic tables. It's a mess. It's a health hazard. You can't have a picnic because of everything that's on top of the picnic tables. Kids can't play on the playgrounds because of everything. The droppings, we'll put it nicely, that is there. So how do we go
First
about
of
it?
all, remember this, vultures are federally protected by the Migratory Bird Treaty Act of 1918. You cannot mess with their nest, you cannot mess with their nest, and you can't, or their eggs, and you can't, without a permit. You have to have a permit.
There's no nest there.
I
But,
would suggest
I would-
you get direction from state and federal wildlife agencies on how to deal with that. I know other
Yeah, there's.
towns and communities have done that, and they'll give you suggestions on,
So we probably need to reach out to the US Fish and Wildlife.
yes, and state, department, is it Department of Game and Fisheries, I believe, as I recall. So I think my suggestion to you from a legal perspective is to reach out to those and get suggestions, and then you can digest those and decide what you wanna do. Cause Mr. Sauls is right, they are very protected.
Yeah, I mean, it says that you can harass them to run them away, but, as we've seen in the past, they're gonna come back.
I think that's why if you get some help from the specialists, maybe they can give you some ideas.
I believe you can get a permit to kill 5 of them a year. But
did you
there's
say
very-
5?
I'm sorry?
What did you say, 5?
5, but there's
okay.
very strict instructions on how you can do it. And a certain kind of ammunition has to be used. You have to like hang them up at a certain location. That's supposed to deter the rest of them to kicking them back. There's a lot of restrictions for that, but Chief Bucket has done it in the past, so he's familiar on how to go about it and who to contact.
So this is something that the police department is familiar with, has done in the past, and we can kick
Yes,
that on
yeah,
to
like I
you
said.
all too. Okay.
I think he's, it's been several years since the last time that it's been done, but It has been done. in the
I
past.
would reach out to the agencies just to see if there's any updated guidance on that, and then we'll circle back with the.
Yeah,
there's
Yeah. How effective was it the last time it was done?
I'm sorry.
Was it effective when he did it the last
To
time?
be honest with you, it's been so long ago. I
Okay.
can't remember.
Well, the problem, has it just, because I've just been back about 3 years now, has it just most recently become, oh, okay.
You know, the picnic shelter that was in the well fields, that was one of the reasons that it eventually came down, was they
Okay.
were roosting in there, I mean, it's just, it's a mess, and I know, I'm sure that they will tell you at the golf course that they pick up the tee markers and they'll fly and try to carry them away, and then they end up dropping them about 100 yards away.
They
are very much a
they
nuisance.
ride the updrafts that come. You know, we sit in kind of a bowl, and that creates those updrafts. So they just, you know, you'd have to change the geography to get them to not come. But yeah, I would talk to the agencies. And is that something you can email or Cecile?
Oh, yeah, one of us can.
I know the guy that I talked to when I dealt with Ms. Lake, so I'll contact him and get that information to you.
The one thing that concerns me with them is, why are they here? I know the updrafts, but there's gotta be a food source. There's gotta be something that's attracting them.
Well, they say they're nature's, cleanup crew.
They are,
That's what they
and
do.
You want a certain population of them. You're going to miss them if you don't have them.
yeah, you are.
But you know, how do you keep them off of the town property is really the question.
Our police department used a thing called a bird banger in Glade, and you shoot this thing off and it's really loud, and they beat you back to the police department. It did not do what they fly off for about 15 minutes and then they're back.
What?
So, they're persistent, let me tell you.
Okay, well, reach out to them, or if you need me to, let me know, and we'll come back with whatever we find out with you all, making another agenda item. At least we get that conversation started. Discussion of shooting range. Now, the one that I'm talking about is the one that is in the well fields. A lot of complaints from members of the public to me before election and now about the dangers of it being so close to the trail, where people are walking, kids are walking with their families. Any discussion about that? Any thoughts?
My thoughts is that we shouldn't be shooting
No.
adjacent to a trail.
No.
Um,
We have a gun range. We could always try and work out a deal for the police department to use the gun range that we have that's in protected area, has rules and regulations, and nobody's gonna be walking nearby.
yeah, seems pretty common sense to me. I don't know. Is it something we can reach out? How would we go about making that happen?
Tear it down. Oh,
I
you mean,
yeah, the
we just reach it, we just have a conversation. Well, we can actually bring this up in the business roundtable as well. You know, we could talk to them about that, or I could go and talk to Mr. Lammy, myself, and see, about opening up that conversation to see about the police department going in, being able to train there, just for insurance purposes. I feel like, on the gun range's behalf, you know, there are rules and regulations in place that they have to, everyone that goes there and uses the range would have to abide by for insurance purposes. Does that make sense? But I think it's a conversation he would be open to, and it'd be safer for everybody walking the trail if we could do that.
So do we need a motion or?
We can. I mean, yeah. Let's get a motion. Let's get a motion to tear down the shooting range in the well fields. Do I have one? Or
I'm not prepared to make that motion until we know, we've got a new spot.
Perhaps to consider alternatives to the
sure.
shooting range and the well fields.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe open some negotiations with Norfolk, what is it, Norfolk Gun Club or whatever?
North Fork,
North Fork,
I believe.
I think so.
Yeah. You make that motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Second,
I'll second it.
discussion.
Sorry, I'm writing.
That's fine.
Ms. Abramson?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Mr. Cumber?
Aye.
Mr. Salt?
All right, water meter at Northwood High School.
She gonna handle that one? You want me-
Yep, she's gonna handle that.
She gonna handle it?
She's got, or do you wanna handle that one?
But I'll let her bring it up, cause she's got a little bit more on specifics since I'm off the water committee.
You wanna start with that?
Are y'all looking at me?
Mention
Yeah.
that one?
Oh, I was afraid you were.
Yeah, sure.
I'm on as you know, a campaign, to get the, commercial meters installed, that have been ordered for several years, have been in town possession for several years and have not been installed. So, the first one, I'm proud to say, is actually beginning at 8 o'clock in the morning. I texted the engineer this afternoon and said we looked forward to seeing him here in the morning at 8 o'clock. And he said he would be here, so our guys are ready. They've already taken the big huge lid off today, which took quite an undertaking. And so they're starting tomorrow at North Fork Manor with that commercial installation. And then the next one we want to do was the high school. We had 2 dates that we proposed, and the high school was unable to accommodate both because of games and things going on. So we have reached out to the superintendent of schools, and he is going to get us some dates, as I understand it, or have them get us some dates at the school as to when we can proceed with getting that water meter replaced. We don't plan to start until after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it would only take probably we hope worst case scenario, 2 hours to get it done. It's not a huge job, and they've already identified some of the, the challenges. And we think that water service would be restored to the school very quickly. So we're looking for a time that meets, but if they do have a multitude of conflicts, I am moving forward with, we're just gonna have to do it. And I hate to be like that, but, this is something that's very important, and we've got to get this done, so we're gonna try to accommodate as best we can. And, I do believe that the school will work with us on it, so, I feel good about that.
I think so. When I spoke to the superintendent yesterday, losing dates here, and I gave him, I said, we need to do this on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Obviously, it's to avoid, overtime for the town crews. And, let's be honest, if we said we're gonna do it on Saturday, odds are they're gonna have a wrestling tournament. So, he understood, and I kinda explained to him that we wanted to get to the point where it wasn't one of those things, hey, we're gonna have to do it this day, cause we're gonna have to shut the water off to the building. So he was gonna reach out to both, the principal and the athletic director and let them listen to the message that I left, and they were gonna get back with you on dates. And I told him that we really need to get this done in the next 2 to 3 weeks, so
Yeah.
hopefully that will be the case.
I'm persistent because I don't wanna lose momentum. This is something that is just really critical that we get done. So, the next thing that will happen, hopefully Monday, we will get together to determine which ones will happen next. And I feel like our crew has not actually done a commercial meter replacement before, so I'm hoping after tomorrow and then the next one that we'll have that under our belt, and I think they'll feel more confident about, about what they're doing. So, and I'm hoping that we're gonna see some, accountability in our water usage improve. I don't think it can get much worse, so it has to go up. So that's my thought. So we are moving in the right direction. I feel like we've got some good momentum on that project, and that is a grant project that we do have, and we do have permission from VRA to start moving forward with that. And we do expect it to bid on for construction on February the 2nd. So that's an update as well. And after that, then we'll be getting together to find out what projects within that scope that were originally listed in construction that we can afford through the grant to move forward with. So, good things we're looking at coming up.
But I know the basketball season should be winding down. I'm not sure the dates exactly, but my question would become, if we can't get it done, is there another meter that we move forward to, or do we just say, hey, we're gonna do it on this date? You're gonna have to adjust your schedule.
I will try not to do that.
I don't wanna do that.
I don't wanna do that either if I could possibly avoid it.
So that's why I guess I was asking, is there another meter that maybe we could do until we push that back a few more?
But I really feel like that was gonna fix it.
I think they will. I think they will. He was very positive when I spoke to him yesterday, so,
I realize that the school has got some challenges because they basically missed the majority of the month of January.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're trying to squeeze a lot of stuff in, that may have been missed, so, I'm hoping that we can do it with the least amount of interruption that we can possibly.
Have they tacked on extra hours in the day? I mean, extra time in the day yet?
I don't know, I haven't paid any attention
No, it's
to this.
built
No,
into
it's-
it's built into the schedule.
Okay.
And they've
Gotcha.
now implemented this virtual program, so
Okay.
it should be good going forward.
And it's been so long since I've taught in Virginia. Tennessee has it built in.
Oh, okay. If we could circle back on something, because Chief Lynch came in,
Mhm.
I'd like to circle back on the fire trucks, please. If you
Okay.
could start that over with Chief Lynch, you're more than welcome to come up here if you'd like to, so you can hear her, or you can sit where you're at, it's up to you, wherever you're comfortable.
Put him in the hot seat.
We just had some questions, that's all
Alright,
it
what do
is.
you got?
We have, I put together a list for council of, loans and all that kind of stuff that we've got. And I understand from Greg Griffin at the Bank of Marion that, it looks like we've got 3 loans that we have, that are in conjunction with the fire department. And so he says that what's happening is, whenever there's a payment due, he asks the fire department and they say it's the town, and then they ask the town and they say it's the fire department. So we gotta get this worked out so that I know, because I wasn't part of this, who's paying what and how much and all that kind of stuff. So what we talked about earlier is getting you all at a meeting, maybe the next meeting, to talk about the loans and the balances and how we move forward and who's paying for what and all that kind of stuff.
The only one, there's $11,000 payment that's still out there.
Right, that's the one that's due, it's an annual payment of $11,700.
That should have been paid back in May of last year,
Okay.
which was supposed to be paid by the town.
Is there an agreement or anything?
It was
Is
in-
the minutes? Where?
Yeah, it was in our budget for it's a $12,000 payment, that was in our budget. The line item was listed truck payment for the 23-24 budget,
Okay.
and it was never taken out. 24-25 budget, it's no longer listed as a line item.
Do you know why?
Because it's supposed to be paid off. That was the last payment, the
But yeah,
23-24.
we just have the last one.
Yes,
due.
that's the last payment. that
And
should
it's
be paid.
past due what?
It should have been made in May of 24.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was just not put on the budget.
No, ma'am, it was already in the budget, it just wasn't paid.
So it would have been in the 23-24 budget.
Yeah, if you look, we have like
And it should have been gone
5 items on ours or something like that.
Right.
for this.
One of them
budget we
is
just passed.
truck
Okay,
payment,
same.
Okay.
and then underneath that would be like our expense.
Mhm.
Uh,
Okay. And this was for equipment, right? This was equipment. That's
This was for our truck,
Oh, it was for a truck.
yeah.
Oh, neat.
But I'm pretty sure some stuff got added onto it after we made the purchase
Okay,
by the official at the time.
okay. All right.
So the other is a $17,000 payment. That's the truck we recently purchased.
Okay. It's a 125-month term at 6.25% interest rate.
Sounds about right.
And the original primary on it was 126,500.
That's correct.
Does that sound right? Okay.
That's it.
Now, is the town responsible for that entire thing?
We have made that payment, not the town.
You've made the payment,
We've
okay,
made
so
the
fire
payment,
department makes this. Okay.
And it's up to date.
It is up to
Okay. And the town has nothing to do with this payment?
Hmm.
Okay. All right. Okay, and then the other one is a principal of 66,000?
That should be the truck. That should be the $11,000 payment.
Oh, okay, it says here the payoff is $8,305, and it's 100 days past due.
I have no idea about that one.
Don't know about that one, okay. I wonder if those two are confused, maybe.
I think they are.
Okay, so I bet that's what's going on, I bet those two are confused. So I need to talk to Greg. I'm
Yeah,
gonna get you in with me in a conversation
Yeah,
with him,
let's
and we'll
do
see what
that.
we come up with, how's that sound?
yeah, let's do that.
Okay. If that's all right, we'll get together and talk with Greg.
Because everything that we have, we got a tool payment too, but it's through a different, it's not through the Bank of Marion.
Okay.
It was like 40 or 44,000 we give for our Jaws of Life and spreaders and that sort of thing, ran.
Okay.
That's a $10,000 payment that's due in May, I believe. And I think we have 18,000 on those. So we got about another year and a half
Okay.
of that.
Okay,
It's current. But the only loans to the Bank of Marion should be the one that, the 11,000 that's outstanding and the 126,500 for the truck. That should be the only two that we have.
okay,
Everything else has been paid for.
okay,
Our brush truck, it was paid off 3 years early. So
okay,
we don't have anything else outstanding.
okay.
That was the reason at last council meeting I was talking about getting a financial as well.
Yeah.
Each month, we could have looked at the financial and probably figured this out without wasting your time.
No,
You know,
you're good,
but
you're good.
it's,
I had
but we'll
printed
get
it off
used, yeah,
to
yeah,
where you could see
Yeah.
like the 11,000. You could pull our accounts and you'll never see the 11,000 come out of it because we've never paid it.
Okay.
It's coming from the town.
okay.
All right,
So.
and I hope it's in the town budget, but I don't know.
Well, like I said, it was in the last,
It was in the last one?
yeah, it was in the last. It never got pulled out, so.
And that is the one that was due in
Yeah,
May.
that's when it was normally, it was either
Okay.
April or May it was paid. And like I said, you go back
Okay.
to the history and you can see where the payment was made.
Okay.
Okay,
What I may do with that one is see if Greg would be willing to let us make 2 payments on that and get it taken care of.
okay.
And just get that see what we can do with that, so I'll talk to him and see, cause it'd be great to get that one off the books.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm trying to get rid of as many of these as I can.
Don't blame you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
You're
That's
welcome.
helpful, very helpful.
Okay, next, pool. I wanted to start the conversation with the pool because, I mean, you know, we're at the end of January. We've got a lot to talk about, a lot of complaints, obviously. Pool not working most of the time, help not being able to be there, or workers not being able, hired help not being able to be there to open the pool. Sometimes it's closed for that very reason. It needs paint. Lawn chairs are in terrible shape. We're losing 10,000 gallons of water per day during season. I find that a little hard to believe, but you know, it's something we need to know for sure. Are we for certain on that? 10,000 gallons a day.
I think
In
RD would
season.
tell you that,
Is
yeah,
that
I'm not
right?
sure.
that's been the number that's been consistently used for as long as the pool's been open.
I do know there's a meter back there, when they put water, excuse me, put the water in,
Yeah,
they should write it down, how much water they put in each day.
yeah.
There should be a log back there that says how much they put in.
That's
each
what I
day.
heard, and I haven't actually have I put my eyes on the logbook? No, I haven't, but I will try to find that and see. But I know that, that was one of the biggest concerns that I was told as soon as I came to work here, I think the very first day. Brandon had been, when he came on board, he was just amazed at the number that they were putting down and then how much they were having to add to it every day, so. If it's not 10,000, it's very close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, between that, paint, you know, we've got to look at hiring people. These are some major expenses to try and figure out, you know, how we open the pool for summer. So I just thought we should start this discussion of where do we go from here? What do we want to do? How do we go about this? This is a lot of money.
So the town crew keeps that going, right? Is that how that works?
The mechanical part of it, yes.
Right, okay.
They check it every morning
Yeah.
for pH, all the stuff, chemicals. And then, like I say, there's a meter back there, and there should be a sheet that they record everything.
With it being obviously seasonal, and we do have weather, is there a formal process getting it up and running every year, like some sort of maintenance checklist or something that they start like in whatever month prior to it opening at, was it Memorial Day? So we know what it is that we're gonna be needing to fix, update.
Unfortunately, I can't answer that because I've never been here
Okay.
when they've opened the pool. I came in August and the tail end, and it got shut down 2 weeks after I got
Yes.
here because it turned green.
It did.
We were,
Oh.
there's also, by the way, a part that had to be repaired, a fan.
The impeller,
Yeah, and, it is sitting somewhere in Wise or somewhere
Probably
like that.
Wise.
Yeah, and it has been repaired, and, they were gonna invoice us in the spring for that, and it's $6,000. So that has not been paid for yet.
Is it still there, or do we have it?
Yeah, it's still there.
I would see if the Smith County Foundation has any interest in acquiring it. If another entity like them, who are, you know, public oriented, is interested, I think that would make more sense than us trying to maintain it. But so I guess in that vein, I would make a motion that when you guys sit down with the Smith County Foundation, that is broached at that time.
Do we have a second
I'll second.
discussion?
Pretty much just what
Yep.
the reasons I just said.
Well, only thing I wanted to add is that meeting should happen fairly quickly, right?
Sure.
With them.
Yeah.
That'll be February. That would still give us time, if that was not an option,
Mm-hmm.
to figure out what needs to be done to get it open.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm in the position right now of looking at the money, very, very, you know, difficult position to do, but, looking at the receipts from the summer, this past summer, on a daily basis, it absolutely does not come anywhere near
What was the
close.
average?
$30.
$30 a day
Yes,
average
$30 a day,
with all the expense that we have.
yes.
And now a 6,000 part we would have to even open.
Plus the chemicals.
Plus the chemicals, there were, we lost money because there were parties that were scheduled, but then something would happen and they would break down, they couldn't open it, and those got, you know, rescheduled, or not, or just got canceled altogether. So any of the things that might boost, you know, the intake were not, you know, were not able to be held. I know several parties we had to cancel in August because of that, so.
So it's losing money yearly.
Oh.
Easy.
Well, it's in the past it's
Big
been
time.
at best a break even proposition, if in a good year.
If it
break even.
happened, right?
But
Okay.
if we end up, you know, if they don't have any interest in it, we end up keeping it. In terms of our employment, we're going to have to find, just frankly, someone who's going to commit to keeping it open on days that it can be open. I'd like to see data, if we have it, on the closure rate of the pool that was unrelated to, you know,
Weather.
thunderstorms or something like that. And it probably doesn't
I don't know
exist,
about
but
that. I don't think I'll have that.
but going forward, that's something we need to track if we maintain it.
I think you gotta keep in mind, you have someone who actually manages the pool, but then I think you have to have 4 lifeguards in place at each day, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm trying to think, I think it was 4.
I think it's 4.
I think there's 3 on duty and
Yeah.
1 on rest at all
Gen-
times.
One on
generally,
rest,
I've-
cause they circulate through.
They circulate
Yeah.
through.
Generally, I've not heard any. There's not been a lifeguard shortage. Let's put it that way. So yeah.
I think the other thing you need to look at too is one of the issues you have is We need to look at the rates that we're charging as far as pool pass, things like that. I mean, we need to keep in mind that unfortunately, everything's going up and the cost of our operation is going up. So it's just business 101, and that's the bad part. You know, I know that, when I was shocked when I found out what the town of Marion charges for their pool yearly pass.
What is it?
Cecile, do you remember?
It's like $175 or something.
And what is ours?
I have no idea.
It's like $40 or
$50.
$50.
$50 maybe.
Yeah.
And I think Marion's maybe would be more.
I think
than that,
Marion's
if I'm
was around
not mistaken.
$250 or
Maybe
more.
$250, because after they put the splash pad in,
And the slides out. It
yeah,
went up.
slides and stuff, it went. I know several people who commented on how, you know, it was a little higher than what they expected.
And that being said, we're not trying to make money on this thing, we're just trying to provide a service, so that's where we have to look at it.
That's why I think with someone like the Smith County Foundation, who's got a number of these ventures that are designed for the public, they are in a better position to spread their, you know, the money around. So that's why I would say, see if they have any interest in it.
Will do.
I just looked up the rates if you want.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
22 and up is $250, 12 to 21 is $200, 3 to 11 is $175, and a family pass is $350.
Okay, so here's the thing about that though. Even if we raise rates, if we're losing that much water and we're paying that much for parts and it's not open half the season, there's no way we could even try and compare to any other rates around us because we cannot offer the same thing for that money.
Yeah, at a minimum, we need to be open when weather permits.
Right.
And that's non-negotiable.
I think that was one of the issues that they had, because I had spoke with people before at the beginning of summer, you know, and asked, what are our policies? And there were no policies. There were no policies to when to close, when to stay open. You know, when I was going to the pool a year ago, don't look at me that way. They had to have 10
Because they're at
people.
the same time as you.
Yeah, I know. They had to have at least 10 people, 10 to 15 people, or they wouldn't even open it.
Yeah, and I know the practice was when I came to work here that they called us to ask us whether to open.
And
That was kind of interesting to me, or to close, or to stay open, and, you know, especially on days where they'd taken in like 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, and they would bring me, you know, $20. You know, I mean, it was, you know, and do we stay open? Do we stay open the full amount of time? Because then you're paying, you know, you got lifeguards that are making, I assume, you know, I don't know what their minimum wage was, but, you know, any amount of money would have been way more than what we were gaining in fees. So, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Very tough one.
yeah, and I think, you know, if you're gonna hire a pool manager, you need to hire somebody, you know, they have to make that decision, they have to live by that. You know, we set the guidelines, obviously.
Right.
You know, and then we go forward. If you don't open a pool and hold it open for 3 hours if it's thunder and lightning, you know, there's some.
Well, I think the other issue too was that, if I'm not mistaken, was that, there were so many times that the wave part of it was not operational. So then you just got, you know, stagnant water, and as I understand it, it needs to be circulated consistently, and if it's not, then you get all manner of, you know, chemical problems and things that make the water unsafe for people to be in, which we certainly don't want to go towards. So, you know, if it's not circulating water, then,
It's got circulating pumps that does that.
yeah. There's just a lot to think about, so it's definitely a conversation, and we'll figure majorly into the budget conversation when we get to that point, so.
The one thing too, I know that, is there a way to check for those leaks, trace those leaks?
In the pool. Yeah, we can have the scuba guy come and dive down with
Put
the,
that dye in it.
with the magic Kool-Aid and,
Magical.
isn't that what y'all call it yesterday? What you call it? Is that what it is? Yeah.
RB said
That's
something
what
about
RB said,
magical.
yeah.
Yeah.
Magic
Magic
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid.
The red stuff exposes where the leaks are, or where the cracks are.
So you can see where it's
And
pulling
you
it
can
out.
see where the water's being drained out of it, so.
And thinking ahead, I know in past, we've filled that thing up, right, the day before, 2 days before, I mean, it's not been ahead of time, right?
Well, yeah, you need to try to get it up probably a couple of weeks before Memorial Day before you open it. Get your chemicals.
Get
lined
it
up.
going, and I know that's not always been the process, my concern is the guy with the magic Kool-Aid. Do we need to, if we're gonna go forward with this, check these leaks to see how bad this is, do we need to get on his schedule early?
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
the sooner the
I've
better.
never negotiated with the magic Kool-Aid before, so I would be happy to find out for heaven's sake, so we will see.
I mean, I'm just thinking ahead, I don't wanna be sitting here in May and we say, okay, we think we can
No,
make this
no,
work,
right.
and then he says, well, I can't get there till July.
Well, your fire chief, I think he's certified to do scuba diving.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Oh,
I
that would
think
make
so now.
sense,
It
yeah.
used to be.
Okay.
You could get him a turkey baster and some,
Magic
That's-
Kool-Aid.
it's some magic Kool-Aid.
but basically that's what it was.
Okay, yeah,
Alright.
we'll get going on that. All right, do I have a motion to enter closed session?
are we gonna combine the two?
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead, Rue.
Okay, I'll make a motion to enter closed session pursuant to Code of Virginia 1950 as amended, section 2.2-3711A1. The council may go into closed session for the consideration of discussion of personnel, specifically appointments to the town's planning commission. Closed session pursuant to Code of Virginia 1950 as amended, section 2.2-3711A1. Council may go into closed session for the discussion of matters involving town personnel, namely position of chief of police.
I have a second.
I'll second it.
Any discussion at all, or roll call vote, right? Yeah, or
Can I
any,
ask what we're discussing, or
Sure.
what we need to discuss with the chief of police position?
just him.
Do we,
Needs to be in closed session,
Mhm.
okay.
that's why I put it on there.
Roll call vote.
Ms. Abramson?
Aye.
Mr. Henderson?
Aye.
Mr. Comer?
Aye.
Mr. Sox?
Aye.